Ladies, Coach Jerry here. Welcome to this video. Today we're going to talk about the difference between weight loss and body composition. And I'm going to give you in this module everything you need to know about learning how to track progress, gaining full control of your decision, because you know that sometimes you feel like you are not gaining results, you feel like you're wasting your time, you feel very frustrated, angry, and you take no decision whatsoever. Right now, you are going to be having all the data and knowledge possible to tell you the difference between when you are losing weight, much like you've been having this belief system and patterns, that whether or not you see a weight lost when it comes to the scale, then you feel like you're winning. If you don't see that, you feel like there is genetic limitation, you're not motivated, you need more specificity, it's impossible because of your genetics. You feel a lot of voices that goes on in your mind, and often you attach emotionally driven feelings, and you get to the point that you feel like worth less or less value, and of course you end up being obsessed about this number, and then sometimes you feel like you don't want to weigh yourself anymore because you're really scared about the scale telling you something that you don't want to hear. Right now, today, you're going to learn the difference between, really getting emotionally detached and use data that you going to figure out in this module on getting more functional towards this data, meaning like you're going to use in a functional way this data so that you know exactly where you are in your journey. Every single time you know how to optimize and how to get results. Right now, you're going to be diving deep into a module through from now about the mindset that is going to teach you about really detaching yourself emotionally from the number on the scale, because it's not about a number on the scale, it's about getting to understand the difference between body shape and weight loss. And when it comes to body shape, you could technically only lose 5 or 6 pounds or a couple of kilos, and you look much better, and you'll be much healthier, because like, as you see here, it's really about losing the fat and not about losing the muscle. And if you understand, when you're talking about weight loss, your weight can fluctuate 5 times in a week, especially in a woman. It is because you retain water, you lose water, sometimes you lose some muscle, you lose some fat, of course, but mostly it's really water and between the water loss and the food that you're eating that is going to determine whether or not you are going to gain weight. But that doesn't mean you're gaining fat. Okay, most of the time, in fact, you are not changing at all the composition. But if you focus on the scale only, and you're really starving yourself, and you do all these things that you tried in the past, you might end up looking at, just if you have like a body type and you have an apple shape or a pear shape, if you're over 40, chances are you're more like your hormones decline, really focused on having you store more weight on the middle part of the body. If you only looking at the weight and you don't really looking at body changes, you just look at a smaller version of yourself, but you're not really going to be happy. We're going to address how to change the body shape when we get into the to the whole phases inside the program, when it comes to metabolic restoration, when it comes to acceleration of shape changes, and fat loss, when it comes to build the body that you really need to build, when it comes to shape yourself up and then to keep the results. But nonetheless, you need to understand that tracking is king, because only when you track, you are certain that you're going towards the same direction. Here you have Ivona, in just 14 days, she totally changed her body composition by losing some weight, yes, but mostly because she was able to let go of water retention. She was able to really use a strategy and then track correctly to make sure that she is improving. Here we see Valentina. Valentina, on the photo on the right, you literally see that there is no water retention, there is no cellulitis anymore. You can actually see the lining on the stomach, and she did that. She went from 22 to 17 body fat percentage by weighing maybe like a kilo of different, maybe 1 or 2 pounds different, right? And she did that because she was able to learn how to track weekly or bi-weekly measurements, circumference, to really understand what do you need to measure to make sure that you are improving body composition. You're going to learn how in the next lesson here, you're going to learn exactly how to track your circumference on the body. There is a few things that you can track, or you should track, and really are, for the sake of this program, is going to be weight, is going to be circumference, is going to be picture that you see before and after. And then, of course, for some cases, I'm going to tell you individual work that you might need to do. But if you are overall able to get your circumference, you're going to be able to measure a technical, theoretical body fat percentage. You're going to learn how to do that in the next session. And when it comes to your picture, you're going to see visual differences, and you're going to allow me as a coach to really figure out mostly hormonally, where do you store your fat, and specifically, what do you need to do as every picture changes, right? This is kind of like the idea. But mostly how you should really start gathering data is that you really need to gather data, number one, so you need to measure, right? Then you need to test an hypothesis, right? We could be like, I put some diets in there, but it's really going to be a nutritional system plus a workout or a movement plus exercise system, which we're going to be diving deep inside the program. And that's going to be the data test, meaning like you're going to test the hypothesis. And this is, by the way, this is how it's done every time. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing every single time you jump on a diet. Then you're really supposed to measure again, right? And see the changes. Based on the changes, you are using a tactical optimization, meaning like you do the changes that you're supposed to be changing. And based on things improving or getting worse, systematically you change the approach that you're using or strategy. So you could change more than one thing, the nutrition and the workouts. You could just change the workout. But if we have no data, then we're kind of blind. We don't know what to do. We don't know where to go, right? Most people, and I'm gonna argue that most times that you try things in the past, you just try a diet, you just jump on a scale, and if that doesn't reflect what you have, then you quit, or then you stop, or you're determined that it's not working. When instead, if you just went to the extra mile and you just really focused not only on weight, and you took picture, you took measurements, and you figure out what that case was, chances are you would have done much better. Here, there is only a few things direction on how to weigh yourself, because again, we are using weight to gather data and not to attach emotional feelings. So at least for the initial phase of this system, you're going to have to weigh yourself pretty much every day, right? And then use a median weight, meaning like that you're gonna do a median, not an average, but a median, meaning like the 3 lower and the 3 higher are gonna be on the side, and then the middle weight is gonna be the one that is going to be the one that you're gonna determine that is your average weight, if you wanna call it that way, but it's a median. If you forget to weigh yourself, right, you just really remember, you just write down when you weigh yourself, and then again, you take that 2 lower number or 2 higher number, and you put those aside, and whatever is in the middle, that's the median weight that you're gonna use. Weekly by weekly, if you're getting better, like let's say if you weigh yourself for a month, and you establish that right now, I gave you a strategy based on how you started with your assessment and everything. You're going to see improvement on the weight, chances are you're going towards the right direction. If you see improvement on the weight and on the measurement, you're going even on a more right direction. If your weights stay more or less the same, but the measurements are improving, chances are you're getting better as well. If your weight kept lowering, for example, but the measurements stay the same or got higher, chances are there is something that you might be getting to become a smaller version of yourself, but maybe not improving body composition. When we know all that, and I gave you a few scenarios right now, it's really it's going to give me clarity on how to help you better. In the next page, you're going to learn how to calculate theoretically your body composition. You're going to learn how to get your measurements. There is going to be videos about it. And you're going to get the full body tracking sheet. Therefore, what I want you to start to do right now, I just want you to go to the next session, watch and then measure and take the first data. And as we're going to do that again, usually bi-weekly or a month, depending on whatever test it is, then we're going to get to talk, and you're going to post everything inside the group so I can give you direction on where to go. Jerry here. I'm going to see you in the next video.